fully ripped. My body was absolutely ripped. So yeah, I think that worked well. Leading up to IRONMAN 70.3 World Championship in Nice, I tried something quite special. It was LCHF diet. Before I start the topic, I'd like to say that still the golden rule of diet is to eat in balance. But I'm going to talk about some diets I've tried in a shorter terms. Yeah, I tried these diets to improve certain factors for my performance. Now, as a junior triathlete, I had a teammate who was faster than me, and he was vegetarian. So what I did, I just mocked what he was doing. I just went vegetarian without much knowledge. That didn't work. I think it would work differently now because I've studied nutrition and physiology and so on. So it would be different. I would take totally different approach, but that didn't work. Then about 6 years ago, I tried fasting. That was just one-off. I did it kind of randomly just to see how it feels like. Of course, I didn't do that for the performance, but I kind of combined exercise as a part of it just to speed up the process of fasting. And that actually led to sleep low kind of diet exercise combination. I started doing that a few years ago after I read the research on triathletes, elite triathletes in France. They tested sort of fasting, intermittent fasting strategies combined with the exercise. The problem back then was that fasting seemed to improve our fat metabolism, but negatively affected the top end of the speed. What they did was they did high intensity training in the evening. After that, they didn't eat any carbohydrates, but fat, protein, and or other nutrients. And in the morning, they woke up. They did a light intensity training for 1 hour before breakfast. And at breakfast, they ate whatever, just to balance the same thing as what they usually ate. And it improved their fat metabolism a lot and gained their strength, power as well. So it worked, and it's scientifically proven, so I've been doing that. It's a great way to improve my fat metabolism. Then there's a guy called Plu. He was the first amateur in Kona last year. I sort of followed what he's been doing. It's basically low-carb, ketogenic diet, but focusing more on performance. I've bought a blood keto meter. It's like this. I put a strip there after absorbing blood into that strip, and yeah, it tells me how much ketones I've got in my blood. Very effective way to check, better than breath or urine test. So with that, I kept checking my ketones. I had carbohydrates before key sessions to maintain that power aspect and to maintain the top end. And I think it worked quite well. At the end of the experiment, just before the World Championship, I was going to get into the lab and check how much I burn fat, the fat oxidation rate. I was going to check that, but unfortunately, the lab was fully booked. So I couldn't do that. But instead, I did a FTP test. without any carbs in my body. So basically my body was empty, and I did the FTP test on a bike at home, and the number was very similar to the FTP result with sugar in my body before the experiment. So I was burning basically fat, mainly fat. I didn't have carbohydrates coming into my body at all. Basically, I was creating sugar within my body. So that was the only sugar I had. And yeah, the number was pretty much the same. So it worked really well. If someone's thinking about doing diet, it doesn't work for everyone. But for me, it was just fully ripped. My body was absolutely ripped. So yeah, I think that worked well. Especially knees was quite hilly, so lighter body weight and keeping the performance at the same level before that experiment. So I was quite happy. And I think I'm going to do the same for next year before the race. I will talk more details about the experiment in coming videos. If you haven't subscribed, please do so now and click on the bell. Then you will get a notification when I upload new videos. There are Instagram and Strava accounts as well. You can look at the details below. See you next time.